but then goes into saying afterwards that they should come up with a system where they bar gender awards to begin with. And I think that's super funny to be saying something like that, especially when you start off the speech saying how much you support women and you talk about your transgender daughter, and then you go into saying that there should be no gender awards to begin with, that it should be barred for inclusiveness and diversity. But when it comes down to it, you take gender awards away, you're taking away everything that your daughter has been fighting for.
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Nothing, nowhere, never in one spot.
Got it. No, it seems like it has been I've heard people compare it to like how, impactful Lord of the Rings, Star Wars type of movie was. One of the great sci-fi flicks of like the next generation. It's won the most awards since Lord of the Rings. Like most awards over awards weekend, and that was before the Oscars, where obviously Jamie Lee Curtis won supporting actress, and the main actress won leading actress. Michelle Yeoh is her name. Yeoh.
That's the main actress.
That's the main actress.
Okay.
She won Best Actress at the Oscars. Obviously, my thoughts on the Oscars. It's fuck them.
Yeah. Fuck 'em.
But no, this movie seems to be a groundbreaking movie. Obviously, the great thing about the sci-fi nowadays is that at least you're going to see something that's, most of the time, you're going to see something that's very beautiful. These designers and the people who are building these sets and the people who are, doing the graphics and everything like that. I mean, they're so advanced to the point where everything looks great. Everything looks
absolutely
amazing. So obviously, visually, it's a great movie. But the plot seems to be very, very everywhere. But again, the multiverse is really, very popular now after, there's been some, I think I won't say after Avengers Endgame, because again, there has been a bunch of different multiversal movies, but that's always like a very popular topic. What if, in an alternate reality, this is going this way, or like, what would I look like in an alternate reality? I feel like that's a question that's asked in most movies, and they did a good job of, having a story where the multiverse is like there, but we build a story around it instead of the story being this is the multiverse and we're just traversing it.
Yeah. I think the concept's good. I think that we've done this before. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think that when you talk about the Marvel space, we've talked about multi-universe or the multiverse. When you've talked about DC space, we've talked about the multiverse. We had the movie Lucy.
Right.
When you unlock, a percentage of your brain capacity, you're able to do all sorts of things. We've had movies like this in play. Also, Netflix came out with that movie with Ryan Reynolds, The Adam Project.
Right.
That is similar in that way because they were able to travel through time, and that's part of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that the movie should have won the award based on the people that worked on the film, and they deserve their credit because, like you said, the live action and everything that's put into making the set, everything that's put into making the movie is beautiful. I mean, I enjoy that aspect of it, but winning an award for the movie itself, this was such a high budget film.
Absolutely.
To have such silly fucking puns in it. And I'm not talking about puns as in like little tiny punchlines. I'm talking about they put so much stuff in this movie that it's like, why is there a googly eye on your forehead when we know that's supposed to be the third eye?
Right.
Like, why are these monkeys have rubber fingers? You know what I mean? And they're just slapping another monkey like in a scene. Like, I'm really confused where they were trying to go with that aspect, being such a high budget film, being so huge when it comes to the topic that they're talking about, because this is something that is just unexplained. You know what I mean? We could sit here and have theories about it all day, but your interpretation on the multiverse is your interpretation on the multiverse. So it's like, I'm sitting here saying, I don't think that they didn't deserve an award for the movie, but the movie itself is not what everybody's cracking it up to be.
I agree with that, but I'll also say this. I think that in this, because like this Twitter era, this social media era, and us getting so much behind the scenes, you know, be it with movies, be it with, you know, sporting events, be it with anything. We're behind the scenes so much. There's so much access to what's going on behind the scenes that I think now movie producers, movie writers are trying to basically like give a wink to the audience nowadays. So it's like we're going to have something so silly in some of these movies that it's like a wink. This is a movie. So we know what's up. So we're going to fuck with you a little bit. And so I think that's where certain things like that come from, and this new generation loves that sort of shit. You know, they love the wink, nudge. This is a movie. We're going to fuck with you a little bit type of humor, type of ideology.
I just think based on a movie like this, that's not where they should have gone.
I feel you.
When it comes down to, because I mean, even in, like I said, the movie Lucy, which is obviously something different because it's unlocking your brain capacity. But I mean, she's able to travel through dimensions. She's able to travel through time once she's able to unlock that part of her brain. So it's like in that movie specifically, they didn't do any of that. There was no nudge, wink. Hey, this is a movie, but also, because we're trying to get across the theory that the writers and the director want to get across.
I feel that, but also with that movie, I think the ending was a lot better to this, because that Lucy ending, the movie was great until the last 10 minutes, and then you're sitting there like, what the fuck are we doing right now?
Yeah.
What? She's doing what? She's now a fucking microchip or whatever the goddamn she turned into?
I mean, if you want to bring it down to layman's terms to a smaller scale, wouldn't that be the circle of life?
Yes and
if you want to bring it down to a Disney movie,
yes,
wouldn't that be the circle of life?
Yeah, I
think
when
somebody now has unlocked part of their brain capacity to a point which
their consciousness,
if their consciousness, so no matter what, we're unlocking parts of our brain throughout our years, gaining wisdom throughout experience. So yes, meaning that we won't be able to unlock that much of our brain. It's not possible. You know what I mean? Because obviously this is a movie and this is a theory, but to gain knowledge through time and then you die, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then where does your energy go? It has to be dispersed somewhere. So I think that even though that the ending was pretty fucking lame, super fucking lame, when it comes down to it, they were just re-replicating what Lion King has always taught us.
No,
you know what I mean? Like that once you get to a certain point of your life, what she got to a certain point of her journey as a protagonist, you know, she disintegrated and she became everything.
Yeah,
she became an atom.
Yeah, that was crazy.
She linked herself to a computer and became this black slime that Venom would have shit out and became everything all at once.
No, exactly.
She should have been in this movie.
She should have been in this movie. No, I think this should have been like they should have did a
little Lucy. Since they want to wink, nudge with the googly eye on the forehead, they should have just brought Lucy in.
I want to speak about some of the accolades it won. It did win a total, if I'm reading this correctly, of 64 awards over the award season. So individual categories, be that, you know, best supporting actress, best whatever.
Yeah.
So they won 264, which I believe, like I said, had the record. And of course, the National Board of Review and the American Film Institute named it, you know, one of the top 10 films of 2022. So it was a really good film. Obviously it won, but the controversy is when we got to the Oscars, because people were expecting Angela Bassett to take home Best Supporting Actress for her role in Black Panther 2. And obviously Jamie Lee Curtis ended up winning. Goes back to our conversation we were having about a year ago, around this time, when I said about sometimes the Grammys, Oscars, and Academy Awards. I feel like I won't say that. I just feel like they vote wrong sometimes. And again, like I think it's not as blatant with the Oscars.
Yeah.
The Grammys is really blatant how they just pick and choose who they want to win. The Grammys are disgusting. Oscars not as much, I would say. As big of a film as Everything Everywhere All at Once was, I can see why Jamie Lee Curtis got the nod. I thought that Black Panther 2 was trash. So I mean, I'm not the one to sit here and be like, yo, Angela Bassett should have won it last year.
Do you think that the Oscars or the people that are obviously running the show maybe knew about Jamie Lee Curtis's agenda when, you know what I mean? Because obviously she's talked about it before, and that was a huge controversy as well.
Oh, about the genderless awards.
Right.
I mean, I think it's possible. I definitely do think it's possible. I also think it's possible that people like watched Black Panther 2
and said this is trash
and said this is fucking garbage, like I did.
What movie starts out with the main character, the one reason why everybody wants to go see the movie,
absolutely,
not being in the first scene, and then it goes into, oh, there might be a small % chance that if we go and find this random fucking thing that we might be able to save T'Challa, and within 2 minutes T'Challa is dead. Like, bro,
they didn't even. You know what the crazy part about that is too? And again, I'm not gonna spend too much time on it. But you know what the crazy part about that is too? They didn't even never say what this nigga died of in the movie. Like, I get,
right?
We know how he passed away.
Right.
R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman. Obviously, in real life, he did pass away. But
that's crazy.
This is a movie.
Yeah.
So there's two things you can do. You can recast,
yep.
which. You recasted damn Terrence Howard out of being War Machine in the first Iron Man, and that man is still alive.
Right.
So you can recast.
Or you could just pull a Fast and Furious and dub it up and use all the footage that you've used previously and recreate it.
Or you can have somebody in a Black Panther suit get killed by Namor in the beginning of the movie.
Yep.
And now we start from there.
Right.
That's the smart thing to do, Disney.
But I mean, with Disney's budget, they could have very well did that. They just chose not to.
They just chose not to. Whatever the case was, I think that Angela Bassett should have won an Oscar by now with as many great and historic and amazing roles as she has put in.
Right, yeah,
so
she
yes,
was about to cry.
She should have won an Oscar. They're talking about Everything Everywhere All at Once is like one of the best movies of like the past decade. That's what they're putting it in. Like when I tell you they have won the most awards, I think, ever. Right? So again, I it was a losing battle for her. It's unfortunate because again, she should have won, but I can see why she didn't win. It was a big controversy. Again, this is the thing with awards like this, because it's like, yes, we know that there's a committee, we know there's people who vote and everything like that. But I don't know if the public really knows all the people who are on that committee. Right. And I think to make all of these things a lot more fair, votes should be more public. They should, again, have a list of who these people voted for, who these people are, and show us the voting process. Show us the percentages after, these awards are given out. Because, again, that's why people are always skeptical when it's supposedly a secret of who this person is voted for or why this person got the award. I just think there should be more explanation from these people of why they're given out these awards that they're giving out, because a lot of time, or why these people are nominated and especially with the Grammys, how some people are nominated and some aren't, just on a whim, and they're just thrown out there and nobody's ever given an explanation why, and nobody's even forced to give an explanation. So I do think that that's what needs to happen to make this at least seem more fair.
And obviously, like, Jamie Lee Curtis deserved to win.
Yeah,
it's not
absolutely.
like her role, she had a bad performance. It's not like she didn't bust her ass. And with her speech afterwards was compelling to the sense that it was nice the way that she directed her thanks and who she directed her thanks to, not just saying like, hey, thank you, I wouldn't be able to do this without you, but saying, hey, I'm involving you and we all won this. It wasn't just me. But then goes into saying afterwards that they should come up with a system where they bar gender awards to begin with. And I think that's super funny to be saying something like that, especially when you start off the speech saying how much you support women and you talk about your transgender daughter. And then you go into saying that there should be no gender awards to begin with, that it should be barred for inclusiveness and diversity. But when it comes down to it, you take gender awards away, you're taking away everything that your daughter has been fighting for. We shouldn't have this, and we shouldn't have that, and we shouldn't have this, and we shouldn't have that. Everybody just needs to leave everybody the fuck alone. They could do whatever they fucking want on their own time when it really comes down to it. That just makes no sense to me.
Yeah,
what are you doing, Jamie Lee Curtis?
that was a dumb comment, especially like you said, to start it off with, oh, I did this for women and this is a great point for women and I've always tried to work hard and do everything for women. And it's like, when you say we should have a genderless award, that means that, again, now you're slighting women, and now you're putting it in a situation where they're going to have to compete against more people, against I won't say male dominated, because I don't necessarily feel like it's male dominated, but you are going against, a lot more males in that. And how many times do you think that the voters are going to pick a female performance over a male performance, even if they're comparable?
Right.
I think sometimes they will still lean towards that male performance.
Right.
Especially depending on the gender of the person that is voting. So again, I don't see why there would be a certain issue with taking out genders in that award, because again, the reason why there were genders created with that award to begin with was that in Hollywood at that point in time, there weren't a lot of roles for women that were leading roles. About 90% of the roles were written for men by men. So there was no women getting those awards. They weren't even being able to be recognized for when they had exceptional performances. So again, they added in, okay, now we're going to have the best actress, we're going to have best actor, supporting actress, supporting actor. That was able to open up a way where women were able to get that award. Absolutely. And be recognized for their hard work and for their achievement. To take that away is just, in my opinion, dumb. Because again, if you are dealing with someone, and I felt like this is just a no-brainer, but if you are dealing with someone who identifies as non-binary or does not ascribe to having a gender, then I think the best thing for them to do in that situation is to say, hey, okay, your movie, we're going to nominate you because we think that your acting was superb. Which category would you like to be in?
Right.
Just ask them. Hey, you want to be grouped in with the male, or you want to be grouped in with the female? Because I'm pretty sure anybody, non-binary, male, female, transgender, whatever you ascribe to, they're going to say, I am honored that you're nominating me, and then they'll give you an answer.
Right.
They're not going to say, well, you know what? Fuck that award because you don't have a genderless one. I doubt that anybody is going to say that.
When people get in this Hollywood figure for a long time, they start branching out and start portraying their political views on the public.
Absolutely.
And this is a prime example of somebody who is clearly lost in the system and is now an extremist in effect. And it is so sad to see, just based on the fact that she is an extremist on one end, but on the other end, her daughter lives in her home.
Right.
So, I always say you play stupid games, you win stupid fucking prizes, but when it comes down to the situation like this, all this pushback is literally just going to make situations worse. History repeats itself. The life cycle happens again. And honestly, by the time something like this disperses or is now a situation where everybody is just okay with it, I mean, it's like, you're probably not going to be here. So,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know why there's this evolution war when it really comes down to the fact that we have extremists on both sides. And now we have people actually expressing their political views at an Oscar award ceremony.
Yeah, no, I just think that, like, realistically, every time somebody wins an award, it doesn't have to turn into some sort of,
Political debate.
it really doesn't. I mean, like,
There's always stress on either side. Of course, the huge problem is just the fact that Jamie Lee Curtis won the Oscar to begin with, but then you want to go further in to now make this because I won this Oscar, I'm going to put a stamp on my name and what I believe in, because now everybody in the world is watching me, supposedly.
absolutely. This should just be a night of celebrating great movies.
Right.
Great performances, great directors, great writing. And now, again, we have to bring in the whole, genderless, transgender issue. And it's like not really an issue to anybody who's, a regular functioning human. We all can do what the fuck we want to do. Just do it and be happy, bro. Like, there's no reason to turn every single situation into a political debate about nothing.
Right.
Like, everybody has the opportunity, if you live in America, to be and do what it is that you want to do. Will there be people who push back against it? Absolutely. But, like, who gives a fuck about them? Fuck those people. If they are really trying to stand in the way of your happiness, fuck them and ignore them, because they're not worth it.
You know that video we were talking about that got a bunch of views on our socials?
Yeah. Fuck the Grammys. Fuck the Oscars. And fuck the Academy Awards. This has been a dose of reality.
Appreciate you. Y'all have a good night.
Deuces.
Deuces.